And I'm about to discuss which is the Module 5 dilemma. This is exploring the dilemma by Lawrence Coverts, the sequence of moral reasoning. For this module, we need to understand the importance of dilemma by human reasoning to help the learner gauge his level of thinking and to discern one's level of maturity. First and foremost, a social dilemma is an action situation in which individual must decide on his own even if it is against socially accepted norms. It is the situation that measures one's maturity. The dilemma is a tough choice. When you're in a difficult situation in which options look equally bad, that is dilemma. Right now, we will be tackling the Lawrence Coverts sequence of moral reasoning, an in-depth analysis of the stages of moral development and ethical decision-making. Understanding moral reasoning. Moral reasoning is a cognitive process that individuals use to evaluate actions as right or wrong. It encompasses the assessment of ethical principles and the consequences of those actions, guiding decision-making in complex situations. Two insights into Lawrence Coverts. It has 3 levels of moral reasoning. Coverts theory consists of 3 levels of moral reasoning, each divided into 2 stages, explaining how ethical understanding develops from childhood to adulthood. This is the influence of Jean Piaget. His work was influenced by Jean Piaget, whose theories on cognitive development laid the groundwork for understanding how individuals progress in their moral reasoning. By research methodology, Coverts research primarily involves studying moral reasoning in children and adolescents using hypothetical dilemmas to assess their moral judgment. The overviews of Coverts stages of moral development is an exploration progression through Coverts stages, highlighting the development of moral reasoning across 3 distinct levels. We start with the pre-conventional level. These levels include stages 1 and 2, where moral reasoning is based on individuals' consequences and self-interest. For the stage 1, this is the obedience and punishment orientation. Children need to obey rules to avoid punishment, viewing them as fixed and absolute. This, for example, a child doesn't take cookies because they fear being scolded by their parent. The negative consequence is the primary motivator for moral decisions, as children fear punishment more than they understand the ethical principles. For the stage 2, this is the individualism and exchange. Individuals recognize multiple perspectives and act based on self-interest. Just for example, a child helps clean up toys because they expect a reward afterward. The focus shift to personal interests, where individuals weigh the benefits and consequences of actions based on their own goals and desire. This stage lays the groundwork for understanding negotiation and compromise as individuals learn to balance personal desires in others with others' need. Then we do have the conventional level. This level includes stages 3 and 4, where moral reasoning is based on social relationship and maintaining societal order. For the stage 3, we do have the good interpersonal relationship. With emphasis on being seen as a good person by others, focusing on social approval. For this stage, we do have the A person judges an action based on the societal rules and social expectation before him. For example, a child gives away her lunch to a street peasant because she thinks doing so means being nice. This social approval derives decision. These moral decisions are influenced by the desire for approval from others. Individuals prioritize relationship and the feelings of those around them, striving to be seen as good and trustworthy. This stage often involves a focus of conformity where individuals make choice that align with the expectation of friends, family, and society, reflecting a collective sense of morality. And then for the stage 4, maintain social order, focus on obeying laws and rules that maintain societal functions and order. For this stage, we do have the example of an adult decides to not to speed because it's important to obey traffic laws to maintain safety. Then, after we do have the post-conventional level, these levels include stages 5 and 6, focusing on universal ethical principles and greater good. For the stage 5, we have the social contract individual rights, recognition of laws as social contracts that should benefit all, valuing individual rights. For this stage, the social agreements is prioritizing human life. For example, a citizen participates in peaceful protests to advocate for human rights despite potential legal consequences. In this stage, a moral development, individual prioritize the importance of laws and regulations. They see the enforcement of rules as essential for societal stability and believe that everyone must comply with these norms for the greater good. This perspective emphasizes duty and responsibilities of citizenship, reinforcing the idea that order is crucial for harmonious community. And then, for the stage 6, we have the universal principles. Moral reasoning is guided by universal ethical principles, including justice and equality. For this advanced moral reasoning, which is the universal ethical principle, we have the example like whistleblowers possess corruption in their company, recognizing greater good outweighs personal risk. Individuals have developed their own set moral guidelines, which may or may not fit by the law. The principle applies for everyone. For example, this is the human rights, justice, and equality. 100% of individuals at this stage prioritize universal ethical principles over societal norms. And then 3 principles guide moral decision, which is the justice, equality, and respect for human dignity. By understanding the evolution of moral reasoning, covers stages of moral development, offer key insights into the progression of moral reasoning, highlighting the complexity and depth of ethical decision-making. This framework not only enhances our comprehension of moral development across different age groups, but also serves as a valuable tool for informing educational practices, guiding policy decisions, and fostering personal ethical growth. And this is the end of the presentation. Thank you.